United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
That's what I was saying.
Okay, I need a motion for the acceptance of the agenda. I got Kevin and Ron. Any questions? All in favor? Well, it's harder to see the, can you see everybody?
We'll have to go like this. Go like this, Bonnie.
Well, it's only important, yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
It's really only important for Alexis to see you. I mean, I usually write it down, but
Okay.
it's mostly important for her. Okay, public session.
We have Rick.
Thank you. I just want to read a short statement for the record. Over the weekend, the question came to the board about why Taconic Hills was not following the president's proclamation to fly our flags at half-mast as a mark of respect for Charlie Kirk. This caused much debate among board members over the course of several hours. We are not trying to revisit the issue. We just want the public to know that this question was debated. 3 board members, Samantha Maker, Kevin Meisenbacher, and myself, urged the district to follow its written policy on the display of the flag and lower our flags as proclaimed by the president, because we believe that the policy was clear that we should do so. Policy 4311.1R reads in part, flags shall be flown at half-staff on Pearl Harbor Day, on September 11th Remembrance Day, on days commemorating the death of a personage of great importance, and on days designated by the president or the governor. We 3 want to go on record as disagreeing with the decision to not follow the president's proclamation to lower the flags over the weekend. It is our opinion that our adopted school policy was not followed. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay. I need a motion for the acceptance of the consensus agenda. Motion, please. Ron, second. Kevin? Any questions? All in favor? Okay, we have the presentations for the student board members.
Oh, okay. Are you okay with the lights being on? Yeah, absolutely fine. Good evening, everyone. Where would you like us to be? I think this is great.
Yeah, that's
Where do
a
you
lot.
want? Okay. Can everybody see? Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Fantastic. Welcome to the Ex Officio Student Board of Education member presentation. We will be going through a couple of the ideas that we've covered and accumulated over the summer and just our short term as your Ex Officio board members. So we've just been brainstorming and we wanted to share it with you. Just to cover our mission and vision statements, our mission statement is that we'll provide an engaging and enriching education experience that prepares each student for a uniquely successful future.
And as for our vision statement, we are a leading educational district that works in partnership with the community and the world to provide a comprehensive and exciting education experience for every student.
To cover our priority areas, we focus on academic excellence, so we state that we will increase student engagement through a growth mindset and student agency to demonstrate student individual success.
As for the school environment, we will create an environment where people from different backgrounds feel included and have a sense of belonging.
And our operations are another priority area. We will implement and support the district through effective communication, technology, and support services. We state that academic excellence includes program variety and challenge, life skill development, engaging, and consistent curriculum. These focus areas remain the same with changing commitments. Our personal core values at the school, just as a reminder, I'm sure you're all very familiar, are student success and growth,
Diversity and equity,
civic responsibility,
empathy,
inclusion,
respect,
innovation,
safety and support,
student voice,
honesty, integrity, and transparency.
and lastly, fiscal responsibility. So, the Future Literacy Action Plan overview. I originally created this action plan at Brown University's Leadership Institute, which I attended for 2 weeks over the summer. At this institute, I was prompted by an assignment to design a multi-step project to improve my school and community in some way. I chose to focus on improving the lack of future literacy that I noticed in our school. Future literacy is stated to be the ability to better understand the role of the future in what we see and do, and it can be used as a tool to help students take ownership over the future and develop strategies so they might build the future that they really want. Why and from what?
Okay, so why are we doing this? I just want to say for Francesca's idea that there's nothing wrong with staying within the state and community. That's not the goal of future literacy. It's just to grant awareness to students on every possible outcome after high school and just a greater world awareness of what's going on. Members of the world or greater good are still members of Columbia County and still benefit the community no matter where they are.
From what cause? Some of the little tidbits that stuck out to me when I was reflecting on my experience at Taconic Hills that I wanted to focus on in the future and hope to improve in some sort of way were when we talk to our guidance counselors, their main propositions are SUNYs and community colleges as the best option financially and for every student, which can be not true just for some of us who are looking to go a little bit more above and beyond. A statistic that I found shocking was that 2 people out of the 74 students of the class of 2025 were planning on leaving the state for their continued educational journey. That may not be as shocking to you as members of the Taconic Hills community, but compared to the statistics of other places in America, it's a pretty shocking one. As well as career opportunities being primarily focused on in the community, of course we are an ecosystem that wants to create things that benefit us. And of course we want to continue generational businesses, but sometimes those aren't what the kids are interested in. So education about alternative paths is always beneficial. As well as the implicit thought that students have that SUNY schools are the only option because they are the cheapest, where top schools, as you all may know, provide great financial aid if you qualify it, which many of our students do.
All right, so as for our goals, I kind of said this already, but increase awareness as to future pathways, educational and career focus. Just give students awareness as to every career pathway that they can have, not necessarily urging them to do a certain thing. It's just giving them awareness to everything so then they can find what's best for them, and whether that be trade, college, whatever.
Exactly. We're also hoping to increase awareness as to other ways of life and current world events to create more compassionate, informed individuals who will benefit the world at large. We included the New York State Portrait of a Graduate just to show you exactly how we connect to it with global citizen, social emotional competence, and cultural competence. So how we plan to achieve our goals, which is research-based. The larger chunk at the beginning of the alumni panel is just a direct citation from my thesis paper that I wrote about this while at Brown, and it just gives a little bit of background information.
Okay, so I'll just talk about the alumni panel. Talked a lot about what the goal is, but not really what the actual idea was that Francesca had. So we would work with Ms. Miller to cold call and email alumni to see if they would be interested in coming back to the campus or just sending a video in. And if they came back to the campus, they could be in an assembly, or if they send a video in, it would be the same thing of them just saying what life has been like post-high school for the students at Taconic Hills now, just to give them an idea of what it's been like, after graduating, what they did, whether college, whether not college, and then how that has led to where they are now, and how that's affected their current life.
We have some amazing speakers that come and have assemblies at Taconic Hills, and we get a lot of inspiration from them as to what we could achieve, but not so much the process of how they got there. These self-tapes that could be posted on the school website are I applied to FAFSA, I got this much money, I was able to go to this school, all based in Taconic Hills. So just creating a little bit more awareness and the ability to relate to someone who's a direct ancestor of where someone is at the moment. The other idea that we had was current event announcements that would be morning announcements that touch on current events to increase district-wide awareness of other cultures and what's going on outside of America. Naturally, we want to include America as well, but we've noticed in our history classes and other high school classes, there is a certain ignorance is bliss mindset in regards to alternative places in the world, which we want to discourage. This could be talked about in the announcements with historical events to increase the educational aspect of it. For the elementary students, we were thinking about National X Day. X product was created in X place and that has benefited America in X way, just to create a little bit more compassion and interest in what we're learning. As well as the junior and senior high are very competitive. We enjoyed the movie competitions on Fridays last year where people were able to call in and answer something on the announcements. Clyde had a fantastic idea to connect to current events. Monday through Thursday, there would be a fun fact about a certain place of the world, going back into their history and current events that students would need to pay attention to. For on Friday, there would be a pop quiz question, and the first teacher's room to call in with the correct answer would win a prize of some sort. So they would need to be engaged for the entire week and paying attention to get that prize at the end. There would, of course, be varying levels of censorship for the elementary to junior and high school students. We are not trying to expose the elementary students to any sort of atrocities too early. We just want them to become aware gradually over their educational journey. So some possible tie-ins to this. We are, of course, open to suggestions, and we want to try everything. The participation government, student credit, and skill of civic literacy all require some type of volunteer work and becoming more engaged with your global life as well. So there could be ways to tie in if they were to work with us on this project, help do the announcements, etc. I will not speak for Richard Bybrock because I do not know everything, but I've heard lovely musings about a possible plan with local alums to establish more career opportunities. If we were able to combine ideas or just bounce them off of each other, we could cater to every student type, whether trade or experienced educational, going on to graduate school, etc. Future plans.
Okay, so future plans would not, obviously, there's already been so much here. Future plans would be for future student liaisons to tackle, and we would pass that on to them. So we're not trying to throw all this at you and say that this is what we want to do. But hopefully in the future, there could be a financial aid assembly, because financial issues are one of, if not the most pivotal factors in college decisions. I've heard so many senior friends from last year say how they had a top school, or their school that they wanted to go to, they could not go to because of money, and that was really the main deciding factor. So I thought it could be very beneficial to have a financial aid assembly that just gives insight on FAFSA and the net price calculator. And really, I think this could be good to the whole entire high school, because it's never too early to start thinking about college, or if you don't want to go to college, but it would still help you because it gives you an idea of really how much money you would be spending with the net price calculator. And I think it would give you something to work for if you know that something is doable financially. If you know you have a school that you can go to and your family has enough money to go get you there, then it gives you something to work for.
So why an assembly? It would be mandatory for students. We do know that there is a financial aid night offered at Taconic Hills. Unfortunately, us as seniors just recently became aware of this, so it's not as promoted as we would like it to be. It would be amazing if it could be promoted, talked about maybe more during those current event morning
But
announcements.
Yeah, but that's also still a great idea.
It is,
I think.
a fan. Absolutely. An assembly would, however, be mandatory for all students, and they would be given an opportunity to research their top schools after learning how to calculate financial aid. So using the skills that they just learned in action, as well as providing a better idea of what is achievable to work towards, just as Clyde was saying with the incentives. Another possible idea for the future is coping skills workshop in health classes. We can say how lovely it would be if we were all going to graduate school and getting our PhDs, but that's really hard. Coping skills classes could teach students how to deal with rejection and change by informing them of coping skills that they could use to help them branch outside their comfort zones. Something we have in this community is a wonderful generational business. We have many of them, and sometimes there can be a lot of pressure on the young individuals to stay inside their family businesses. If they were able to have these coping skills workshops, they might be able to branch outside without feeling held back by fear. This would also become helpful if they were to become a first-generation college-educated student, as they might not be aware of the process and be scared of it, as well as if you were interested in pursuing a career that isn't seen as reliable to the school. We push amazing trades, and it is beneficial to our community, but there are some kids that just doesn't work for, and they might be scared to pursue pottery because they've been told it isn't reliable. Coping skills workshops can help them with the change to get used to that decision.
So how it affects community, a diversity of skill, and I would say a diversity of awareness probably is the most important. It's just granting awareness to students on every trajectory that they could go towards post-high school, and finding what is best for them based on financial, based on what career path they want to go to, weighing every factor and just getting the awareness to do so.
Absolutely. As well as when someone leaves the community, they can always come back. Sometimes they can come back for the better, more educated, helping us to create and fill a lack that we don't even know we have. They can bring prosperity and opportunities back to us while having experiences of their own, as we all want to create a uniquely individual person. And Clyde already touched on granting awareness about their post-high school choices. So just to circle back to the core values of Taconic Hills, these are the ones that we think the future literacy plan directly affects and could improve upon, just to see how engaged we are in the core values of Taconic Hills itself. Any questions?
I have one that I wrote down early in your presentation, when you talked about contacting past alumni. So a lot of them either had email addresses that were here. I mean, do you see that as a stumbling block to get in contact with them? I mean, what are some of your ideas on how to get some of the alumni?
Absolutely.
Stalk them on Facebook or something?
Stalk
One of the
the
top
yearbooks.
ones, to be honest, the yearbooks in the
Our idea
library.
was
Social media, Google link, having the wonderful Alexis Miller help us out. But there will definitely be constraints and struggles. But I think with today's internet presences and social media that most people have, will be able to at least DM them on Instagram. And I'm sure that some people will be unreceptive and want to block out their traumatic high school pasts, but hopefully we'll be reaching out to enough that
Well, I will tell you this, you're speaking my language, because I've been after this for years. But I mean, I've been on the board, this is my 11th year, and I've been after this to happen so I applaud you for that, and I really hope you're all successful in this, because this is great. I love it. I love all of it.
Thank you so much. Any other questions or feedback?
Just want to say great presentation.
We will now turn it over to the lovely Violet Wallace for her idea proposals for this school year.
All right, thank you. All right, thank you all for coming, and here are some of my ideas that I was inspired by Francesca and Clyde and their ideas, so without further ado, let's go. Oops, wrong button. So as you guys know, Taconic Hills is a school located in Prairieville, New York, that contains grades pre-K through 12, but I'm sure you guys already knew that, but in case you didn't, I have it right here. And according to the website, most of the students come from a background of small businesses, such as the ones listed right here, up in this corner, right here, or agriculture at like this farm down here. And here's a quote from the school page: "Agriculture continues to be a key portion of our local commerce. Rather than one large single employer, our country's economy is dominated by small and independent businesses." And that is from the Taconic Hills webpage. It's right there on the webpage. The school page also mentions how most of their student body comes from working class families. More than half of our students qualify for free breakfasts and lunches. And it is important to keep these statistics in mind as we plan out how we realistically are going to help our students be the best they can be in their environment, keeping these stuff in mind. So one thing that I propose is a Future Educators Club. Something I noticed last year when I was sitting in that assembly, when they were going through all the seniors and what they wanted to do and what college they wanted to go to and all that, is we had a lot of people going into education, which is surprising because there is a global teaching shortage going on, and it's great that so many people are going to want to go into education. So since we have this teaching shortage and we want to make people more aware globally and nationally and what's going on, we should push people who are interested in childcare, education, or show a passion or a talent into teaching. Because teaching is a practical and secure career, and schools should be pushing students to go into practical fields of study such as teaching. And the Future Educators Club would help this. This club is designed for students who have an interest in teaching and or want to be teachers after high school. Hence, why it's called the Future Educators Club. Some activities that the FEC, and that stands for Future Educators Club, could partake in include shadowing teachers, interviewing teachers and administrators, discussing hot topics in education such as school shootings and teacher shortages. In addition to this club, we could also offer college and high school courses interested in teaching. I know we had a few this year for education, but we could have some more as well, such as math for elementary school teachers, expository writing, and or creative writing. So that's that. An academic support lab. The Academic Support Lab, or the ASL, and that stands for Academic Support Lab, by the way, can be used as a walk-in help center for students who may be struggling in classes, and teachers, NHS students who need volunteer hours, or even members of the Future Educators Club, as I just mentioned, can help run the lab and act as tutors for their peers. Or maybe just a peer who's really good at something. So maybe you're really good at algebra and you want to help your friend. So you can be a tutor. And it looks good for colleges on your application papers. And if you're younger, like in 10th grade, it looks good for NHS. And it can be open before, during, and after school in case students have sports, clubs, or other obligations. And students can walk in during their work calls and ask for tutoring or help on an assignment. And here's a potential schedule for operations, but this is not set in stone. They can run it however they want. And here's some other club proposals. Habitat for Humanity, so that way we are more globally aware of homelessness, and it can foster good habits and character in our students. Key Club and Junior NHS. It says for grades 9 and 10, but I just learned that it's for middle schoolers, and that would be useful since it would push the middle schoolers to do well in school, since a lot of things that we say is, oh, middle school doesn't really matter, it's not until 9th grade. It does matter because we have to foster this good work ethic while they're young. All right, so that's it for me. Hope you guys enjoyed.
Great job.
That was a great presentation.
Thank you.
Um,
Excellent ideas.
They are very excellent ideas. I'd like the Future Educators Club. Would that be something that's only after school, or would you think it would be something that they could do during the school day and maybe make it part of a curriculum almost?
It would really depend on like the scheduling nowadays, because scheduling has been changed around so much. So I was thinking more after school, but if there's a way we can maybe try to fit it into students' busy schedules.
You know, like to shadow a teacher, you'd have
Yeah.
to do it kind of during the day, right? Well, thank you. These are really great ideas, and all, you've all put such great thought into all of these. It's awesome. Thank you. Makes me excited for sure, I'll tell you. All right, next up, we have the Audit Committee report. Joe?
Thanks, Bonnie. The audit committee met tonight for the external audit has been reported for 24-25. Financial report will be released to the full board, then accepted in October after Patricia Brennan presents it to us. Audit options, opinions, and unmodified, no internal weaknesses identified. The district's findings included the unsigned fund balance over 4% noted in prior years. Unsigned fund balance 13,474,277 or 31.17%. Last year it was 45%. The year before was 38%. We're doing our due diligence to responsibly get that down. School tax collection update, 26.27% was collected. That's 6.7 million, an increase from previous year by 1.6 million. The audit committee meeting dates are March 11th, 2026 and May 2026. Thank you.
Thanks, Joe. We have the superintendent report.
Okay, so just good evening, everybody. Just a reminder of the commitments for this year, which we've already been working on. It's been great to visit in classrooms on a almost daily basis. I think I've missed 2 days so far. We've been working together as a team. I've been working closely with Dr. Courtwright Torres, meeting formally every week, but also meeting daily to check in to make sure our practices are aligned and we're prioritizing what needs to be done during each week. It's been great to be at a soccer game, see a few minutes of a field hockey game, and just be in classrooms and head to different events. Violet and I went this morning to Questar for the ex officio welcome from NYSEG for new board members. So I'll talk about that a little bit too. Just our conference day, I know I gave a report, but we did have 2 days of professional development for our employees. We welcomed everybody back. We had an overview of our strategic blueprint. We talked about our second year priorities and commitments. Other opportunities were time to work on mandatory trainings, which are required for all employees every year, time in classrooms, different technology offerings that teachers had asked for throughout the year. We also provided updates on ThrillShare, which is our communication with families, and it's had a lot of changes over the last year, so we wanted to make sure everybody was aware of that. There were faculty and department meetings. We already got some feedback on things that we can make even better next time, including instead of just putting a block of time and giving some options of what people can do, breaking it down specifically so people don't feel as overwhelmed, or like so many educators who are type A feel like they have to check everything off on that list, which wasn't the intention. So it's great to hear back and get that feedback. And we're already working on planning November 10th and March 17th comfort days. We'll have professional development for our self-contained classroom for the adults in that room. We've been asked to think about for our clinical teams, some specific professional development with them, and then also providing some team and department time. So it's really important to us that we're working to meet our commitments, but also balance that with what our employees and our unions are asking us to provide on those days. Well, it's been a busy time welcoming back everybody and our open house. We've already we're just in our second full week of school, and we've already had all of the items up there. It's been fun to visit pre-K and kindergarten classes and just be there as kids get adjusted, and our adults are so amazing at helping our kids get acclimated into their school day routines. And then I put a picture in there too of one of the kindergarten classes who has all of everyone has a chrysalis, which will turn into a monarch, and they're watching them every day and they're learning about that. And if you head over to the elementary side, you'll see a ton of fabulous artwork with ribbons that students received. In June, the 8th graders were supposed to, no, it was 7th grade, right? They were supposed to go to the Bronx Zoo, and that was when we had the heat index. So they worked to get that all changed, and they just went this week, and they had a fabulous time. And then, of course, all the fall athletics. Open house was very successful. I don't know what our attendance count was yet, but I believe from looking at all of the sign-in sheets, we had more families here this year than last. Dr. Courtwright Torres did a great info about academic instruction and our Title I services, what we use that money for, how we can use that money. In elementary, the interventionists, so our math and literacy support, had tables with materials and information for families, and all the classrooms were open. And at the junior and senior high, 7th and 8th grade were in their classrooms, and then the senior high, the departments were together in the cafeteria. We did get some feedback about noise level, but we already have some options for next year. But the positive was that families could come in and meet the departments and gather information from them. Just some first day faces. I know Ron will appreciate this. Alexis had seen on social media that one of our neighboring school districts, Chatham, had their superintendent do a post. So we always, she and I say we have to do it bigger and better. So I did a post, and then we encouraged everybody else, and we got a lot of people sharing their first day pictures. We've had those running on the TVs, and this is just a few of those wonderful ones that were shared with us. So just a fun way for our community to come together. These are a lot of updates from the Pupil Personnel Services Office. I can explain more of these in my board report, but it's really just an overview of everything that's been happening since our consultant Janet Orwick is here. The 812 class is transitioning. It is up and running. They're younger students, and as they get used to being here in our school, and we've never had this classroom here, So everyone's learning together, but overall the kids are doing really well. Info, the company we're working with, has been here. They'll be here again tomorrow to start developing routines and protocols that just help our students a lot. Janet has also sat in training with our teacher, Tiffany, for the curriculum that they're using. And we're working on making sure that procedures are in place for all of them. Janet's also worked with the high school on schedules to support changes in program decisions for our students, again, making decisions that are in the best interest of our kids. We do have a new 15-1-1 class. That means 15 students, 1 teacher, 1 teaching assistant for grades 9 and 10. This is an extension of Kayla Barrett's middle school program, and that's great that our students can continue here for their education instead of having to go off campus. She's also set up all of the 504 annual review meetings. She's working with Dr. Courtwright Torres on setting up and organizing our backpack program, which will begin in October. Just making sure that it's organized and we run that really carefully and efficiently. And Erin Brady, as you know, has moved into that office, and she's been doing a great job getting trainings that she needs and just helping everything get together. Here's a picture of one of our students who's in the 812. Her parents were at open house, and I know that they are just thrilled that their daughter can be in that classroom and be here every day. And these are just some other things that they'll be working on. Ultimately, with a handbook containing policies and standard operating procedures, case manager resource guide, because every student is assigned a case manager. And then they are still working with the RPC to make sure that we're in compliance, and so having those regular meetings. So I know that's a lot, but I think it's important to update you on the changes there that have needed to happen and are happening.
Can I ask you?
You sure can.
So the 812, that's, there are 8 students, I'm assuming that's what the 8 means, right? So those are 8 students that we typically would bus out of here and going to somewhere else, correct?
Correct, so it's 8 students.
So they're gonna be here?
Yep.
I think that's awesome.
8 students, 1 teacher, 2 teaching assistants. Those are students that normally have been sent out of district. We know what we've talked about, goals of having more of our students not having to go off campus for these programs. We have the space. Our biggest thing is making sure that we're training our staff, which again, it takes time. It's a learning curve for everybody because our students have different needs than some of our general population. Laura Backlund has been amazing working and learning with her team right along the way. And it's also just reminding adults, we're learning about these kids. They're new. They're kindergartners and first graders in there right now. So it's not only learning new procedures and practices and strategies, but also getting to really know the kids and who they connect with. So it's an ongoing process and it takes time. So it's just reminding everybody involved to be patient, but overall, yes, it's going really well and we're really excited. Oops, now I'm going backwards again, I apologize.
Sorry, I interrupted you.
No.
You moved everything.
Just a few other, I like to call them nuts and bolts, but the calendars were received and distributed. I do want to thank Alexis. We shared some ideas earlier in the summer about what to put in it and worked on that together, but she did all the heavy work of organizing it and making it look amazing. We've had 3 fire drills already, all under 10 minutes. They've gone really well. We're working on planning a couple of our lockdowns. We try to do them, break them up between the semesters. We're also working on our first edition of the Titan Herald for the school year. Already have some different articles and ideas for that. And I put on here the ex officio welcome from NYSID. It was really great to go today and to have Violet with me so she could come back and share with Clyde and Francesca as well. But one of the things that I learned that I didn't know is that there is a National Student Board Member Association. There currently isn't a chapter in New York State, but a student who was a student board member last year in Orchard Park, is working on creating a chapter this year. He's at NYU, so that's exciting. And what the presenters really talked about, besides answering questions from different students, was that the purpose of having ex officio student board members is that it preserves democracy. It helps us to create a culture of shared responsibility and mutual respect. And the other goal is that when we empower our students, we elevate our community. So those were three takeaways. And I know that Violet will have different things to say, so I hope I didn't steal your thunder. And the Literacy Review Committee is really focusing on the writing process, which is one of our commitments, creating a writing framework. They've already met a couple times, and Dr. Elsa is been working very closely with Beth Flores on that. Sorry, I'm losing my ability to talk. And I've been involved in some of the planning too, and I have to say that it's really great, and we're using the expertise of everyone here. And then also October 8th, our 8th graders are planning to go to Career Jam at Hudson Valley Community College. Thank you to Bonnie and Rick for getting tickets for us so our students could attend that. They're looking forward to it, right? And you just sent something out today, I think, this
Correct. We
afternoon.
got, Mike got back to me, so we can get up to an additional 10 tickets, we can set up to 30 students altogether.
Yeah, I think that's what he said, yeah.
Graders. So we have, I believe it's either 12 or 14 that committed from the last session out of the summer. So now we're just looking for those other 16 to 18 spots.
And the teachers seem excited about it too, which is great. I do just want to acknowledge Linda Ackerman, who's retiring mid-year. She'll be finished at the end of December over the break. She served our school community for 19 years in a lot of different ways with technology, math, ELA, and computer skills. And I thought it was great to know that she was a volunteer conductor at Copake Ironworks Railroad.
That's cool.
So we will miss her, but she's contributed a lot, and we're thankful for that. She's also been already working with John on new curriculum for somebody that's going to come in to, replace that position. Just a couple updates about fun things coming up that everyone looks forward to. September. Just feels like it's going so fast. In October, we have 2 busy weekends in a row. The Pumpkin Run and then the Trunk or Treat, which is always wonderful. So if you haven't been to those, put them on your calendar. And then this is our upcoming month at a glance. A lot of things going on, but lots of options and things to be a part of. I know that we're also working on putting a flu clinic in again. We're just finalizing that date with the Red Cross. Thank you, Ashley, for working on that. These will be in the board report for you as well. Any questions?
I just want to make a comment about the tickets. I just want to thank the Columbia County Economic Development Group as well. They're the ones that provided the tickets for our students to be able to go to the Career Jam.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep.
It's exciting they can go.
I'll be there. Okay, so now we have the student board member report.
Before I get started, Violet, do you want to add anything about your time at NYSA this morning?
Sure, thank you so much, Francesca, for letting me go. I won't be long because I know you have stuff that's very interesting to say and everything.
Take your time.
So, as you guys know, I went on a field trip today up to Castleton at the Questar headquarters for a meeting. And it was all about being a student board member. And we heard lots of different voices. And there were so many things that stood out to me and some potential ideas that I had for the student board and how, I cannot talk today, and how to make it better and things like that. So one thing they suggested was to increase student voice. So basically that's saying, don't just survey your best friends or the people in your class. Make sure you're paying attention to everyone. So I came up with the idea of maybe anonymous surveys we could send out to English teachers, since everyone is required to take English. And that can be at every end of quarter, so they can give it to the classes and so we can get feedback. Another possibility that could be possible, that was a very awkward sentence, I know,
No worries.
Yes, you're good.
is we have the senior group chat, so we could also pose questions in there. And another thing that I was thinking is we do this thing in cheerleading, shout out to cheerleading, by the way, at the end of every game, game practice, we do this thing called Rose and Thorn, where we say one positive thing about our day and one negative thing about our day. So I was thinking we could post like suggestion boxes in like the senior lounge or the library or any high traffic areas, and there can be some sort of topic. We could either change weekly, monthly. If we're doing monthly, for example, we could have a hot topic of the month. Let's say it's cell phones, since I know there's some heated feelings about the cell phone. So we just have the topic, the cell phone ban, and then people could put their roses and thorns or whatever they want to say about the cell phone bans. That way we can increase student voice. And another quote that I really liked is, "Don't just sit on the board, serve on the board." That's one of my favorite quotes from what I learned today. So be an active member of your board. All right. So that's pretty much everything. It was great. They also had some killer bagels and a brunch. So that's pretty much it. I'll hand the microphone. We don't actually have a microphone, but an imaginary
Just pretend,
microphone to
yeah.
Francesca.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Violet, and thanks for going.
Just a quick board report from me. I'm Francesca Spano. You recently saw my presentation with Clyde. I am one of the representatives of the student population, and I hope to be as inclusive as possible towards our school district, even as a senior who spends most of their day interacting with seniors. As for our latest achievements, we've been doing killer on sports this year. We had a field hockey recent game, 5-1 win over Our Lady Lords. Our varsity boys soccer was on a winning streak lately. Unfortunately, it was ended by Caro recently, but the varsity football team still remains undefeated, so we're having a lot of morale and whole school enthusiasm as towards the kickoff of our sports seasons. As for activities, Ms. Brunger mentioned the start of a newspaper club, the Titan Herald, which I noticed has been getting lots of love. A lot of people really interested in attending the meeting that took place yesterday. The student council, we just ran through our elections, and we're working on planning our high school field day and pep rally. So in a few weeks, we'll be able to have a part of the day that has pep rally activities such as grade v grade competitions in tug of war, races, etc., and then have a pep rally inside the gym to boost up even more morale and do more things. As Ms. Bunger also mentioned, there's a pumpkin run October 18th for toddlers through 6th graders, which has been receiving a lot of support. The NHS Society is planning on volunteering there, and at the Trunk or Treat powwow on October 24th. On October 24th, we also have our senior barbecue. We're selling chicken barbecue dinners. Please buy them. Thank you so much. I would love to wear a cap and gown when I graduate. As for academic updates, our schedules are still being worked out, but we've welcomed Mr. Trammell into our guidance counseling team. He has been efficient so far. I've worked with him on fixing some kinks in my schedule, and he has done it so fast, and I've really appreciated it. There's been lots of happiness coming from the students in the BARD, New Visions, and Questar programs. As a member of the BARD program, I've been loving it so far, loving the change in the day and all sorts of different people and professors. We had a Questar BARD picnic as well on last Friday, and it was lovely. We were able to all go outside and play games like cornhole and field hockey, and the culinary kids made us tacos, so it was a really nice bonding exercise. We've been getting lots of love for the AP Science courses this year. Our AP Bio and AP Environmental Sciences are practically full and have been receiving lots of love. As well as people have been enjoying the yearbook and piano electives that have been offered. I know that Ms. Miller had so many students in her piano class, it had to be switched to every other day, so everyone would get the chance to take it, which is lovely. As for some light student concerns, while we thank you for everything that you have done and how you keep us safe, as campus safety and emergency drills have seemed to go extremely smoothly, there has been much concern, of course, as to the no backpack rule being enforced again, as well as the no phone rule. To me, I was actually pretty surprised at how seamless the no phone rule went for the upperclassmen, particularly the juniors and seniors that hasn't been much dissent from. Just because I think we really understand where you're coming from. When we look at our junior high and underclassmen peers, there's definitely a lot more anger and less understanding from them, but we see that they'll understand when they come to it. As for the no backpack rule, that did take the student population as a bit of a shock after we read the updated code of conduct and then kind of heard like a takesy backsies. So we were a little bit curious. Some positive changes have been the busing to and from Questar, Bard, and New Visions is improving. We're making it all into classes on time. We're getting everything done, as well as there's been lots of initiatives shown at clubs. And I just want to thank you all for the opportunity to represent the district as a large and this opportunity to share my thoughts. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice.
I think that we should just do a little bit of clarification about the backpack rule because that has been in existence for years. There were a lot of changes that the Code of Conduct Committee did this summer. In last year's, it was in 8 different places. And I think when they were moving everything around to make it more succinct, it got lost in that. And there are, reasons for it. I know we think about convenience, but we do have lockers, and ultimately, we want people's items to be safe and secured. It's not like, well, I'll speak for myself. Back in the day when I had to, run back and forth to my locker because I had huge, heavy textbooks, and it's really about safety. And I don't know if Dr. Teeter or Ms. D'Amico would like to say anything since you both were on that committee leading it.
Sure. It was inadvertently left off of this year's code of conduct, and when we realized that, we weren't going to have it reprinted, especially with all the school tragedies that have been happening lately. Just along with the possibility of students bringing weapons. I know that we're also trying to incorporate a lot more movement in our classrooms, getting our students out and moving around. Backpacks on the floor, all over the place, create a tripping hazard. It would be very difficult for the teachers to move around as they're moving from group to group. And quite frankly, it's just like Ms. Brunger said, the convenience of the lockers. Most of our students have lockers right in the hallways where the majority of their classes are. And they aren't carrying around the big textbooks like they used to. They're carrying around basically a Chromebook and notebooks for the vast majority of our students. So, that's one of the big reasons that we're advocating to have no backpack rule go back.
Yeah, I agree, and, it also makes for just, really a more organized, cleaner space for the teachers. They don't have all of those things all around, because it really does become a lot.
Thank you. I know that there's positives and negatives, and I'm, glad to hear what you have to say because it's important for us to share our opinions, but just wanted you to understand some of the decision making behind that.
Absolutely. I think that the shock of it coming back was the main issue, just because it seemed kind of jarring to students, but the reasoning, of course, is valid.
Yeah, well, I think that's important to understand, but you know what else it shows us? That people read the code of conduct.
That was your voice.
Yes.
Yes.
So thank you.
All right, the Board of Education member activity reports. Anyone have anything? I'll start with Sam and work our way down.
I attended open house. I got to have some popcorn with principals. It was a very nice night on the elementary side. I did not venture, sorry, to the junior senior high, although, I would have loved to have visited some people. I stuck to the elementary and I really enjoyed the pre-K teachers. They did a very nice presentation. It was a nice setup. They already had to sign up for parent-teacher conferences, so they're well planned and executed.
Janine?
I've been going to the girls' varsity soccer games, and the girls' modified soccer team is undefeated. 1-0. That's
Nice.
Still undefeated.
They played their first game and won. I went to the open house, and I really enjoyed that there were definitely more families there. Like, as a parent and a fan going with my kids, and so I'm like, oh, it's so nice to see more families there. And I appreciated that it was in the cafeteria, even though it was a little noisy. I know it was noisy. But it was nice to have like everybody together. It was just easier as a parent to visit 18 teachers that were like all together instead of trying to run the classroom. And then I also went to Dr. Courtright Torres's, I got caught the end of your workshop, so that was nice.
Joe?
Well, I've been kind of quiet outside the turn of school last week, Wednesday by myself, because I had a little calendar mixed up, so I was here at a meeting by myself. I just walked around the school a little bit.
So it went well.
What was going on.
It was peaceful.
We were all in agreement.
That was a very, oh yeah, that was a good, that was a positive night.
Molly?
I had the audit committee earlier before this meeting, and then I did get to go to the Chatham versus Deconic Hills varsity girls soccer game. Ron, listen, I was sitting on the Chatham side. My best friend's little sister plays for Chatham. It was for the night. We're all hanging out. You know, I support
Molly.
her. Love Deconic Hills.
Molly, you can sit on that side, but you need to wear one of your alumni
This
shirts.
is- I actually don't have it.
How do you have no Deconic Hills gear?
Who won the
You
game?
knew me in high school. You know I
Somebody said
What's
that
that?
spirit wear link because it's live.
I did see that. There was
Here, Molly, look.
But
I'll show you. Look, wait.
Oh, I love it. I did. I saw you guys have some
And it was
Lululemon
Lululemon.
stuff. I did. I saw the
Okay.
Lululemon school out.
It's right
Yeah.
here.
No, it's really cute. But anyway, that was my. I'm sorry. That's
Awesome,
I don't know.
Margaret?
I've been to several of the boys varsity soccer games. They've been amazing. As Francesca pointed out, they were undefeated, I think, in the first 4 games. They did just lose their last one. First 5 games undefeated. So
Nice.
best we've ever been in the history of my
That's
family.
awesome.
Which was really exciting. I came to open house night and my throat did go out within the first 10 or 15 minutes of talking to people because it was so loud in there. But I loved getting to see all the teachers and even the teachers that Clyde doesn't have this year that I knew that I could also chat with. So it was really fun to have in one place. So I think that's nice, but maybe like a different room that doesn't have that kind of crazy acoustics.
We've already talked about different
Which sounds like you
options.
talked about. And other than that, just sounds like a good start to the new year.
Well, I'm very excited that you started out 5-0. That's nice.
Four-
Did you Chatham?
4-0-1, we tied
They
Chatham.
beat-
That's
they
good.
tied
You shot Chatham?
We tied them.
0-0 into double overtime.
Nah.
We're better though, we're better.
They're gonna beat them.
You better than them?
No.
That's all I gotta hear. That's all I gotta hear. And when did the football season start? That's 8-man football, right?
8-man football, and it's been working for them wonderfully. I believe they've had 2 games, and their first one was 46-6, and then their
Yeah.
second one was 23-14
All right.
against
How
Pine
far-
Plains and, do you know what the first one was?
I'm playing football.
Maybe Casco, and we won against both of them. They've been on Saturdays both times. One was in the afternoon, one was in the evening, but there were still lots of people in the stands, which was lovely.
I need to get a schedule of this. I wanna see that.
Right in front of you, right in front of you,
How far do they have? Where?
right in front of you.
Oh.
Tri Valley tomorrow, right?
Yeah, Tri Valley's on Saturday, and we are looking forward to a long bus ride up there.
How far does a football team have to travel?
Well, Tri
There's not a lot
Valley.
of 8-man teams around.
Tri Valley.
Where's that?
It's like an hour. Sullivan County, it's about,
Ooh, that's a hike.
Wow. Yeah, it's okay. Kevin?
Haven't been around too much, but I have had some conversations with faculty and staff about the start of the school year, gotten very positive feedback about how things are going so far this year. And I'm very excited to sneak my grandchildren down here for maybe a powwow.
Yeah. You gonna come to
Just
hometown?
a,
Yeah, good.
just another generation to go to powwow.
I think that's awesome. I haven't been around really, but I'm doing things behind the scenes. We're meeting with WDI. I think we missed a meeting, but we'll get back on track with that. But I will be at Career Jam, so I'll see some of our students there. I'll be there representing somebody there. The Teamsters will be there, so I'll be representing them. So yeah, that's all I have. What about you?
Well, since you were away, I was able to make the superintendent's opening conference day and welcome everybody back on behalf of the board. It was good to see, not old faces, I'm the old one, but people that I haven't seen in a while and some new faces, and basically came away with a good vibe. So sounds like it's going to be a good year.
Good to hear.
Can I add one more thing, Bonnie?
Sure.
I know our track shooting club is running in the fall, and they had so many come out that they actually had to turn some kids away this
Oh, they're doing the fall instead of the spring.
They're doing both.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that.
They did have to turn kids away.
All right, so now we're gonna go into new business. We have, what? Acceptance of the consensus agenda, yeah. Wrong Kevin. You make me think about that. All right, where am I? Oh, policies. So we're on the policy, we have none that we're going to do a second read on. They're all first reads, so I recommend that you all look them over for the next meeting. We'll ratify them next month. The NISBA conference, so I need a motion to authorize the attendance of 5 board members to the National School Board Association. Can I have a motion, please? We've got Margaret and Molly. Any questions? All in favor? Okay, thank you. All right, I need a motion to accept the 2025 to 2027 MTSS plan. Motion, please. Margaret and Kevin. Any questions?
Yeah, what's the MTSS?
That's that's replaces your response to intervention plan from 2007. It's multi-tiered systems of support. There's a committee that's been working on that for a couple of years. So we wanted to get that board approved, and then in talking with the union, we're gonna make sure that committee comes back together again to just work on it this year, because as we go through that process, there may be some tweaks or things that we want to adapt or change as we put it in place. So it's a plan to make sure that our students are academically and emotionally supported, not just in the general classroom, but when any of our students need extra help individually or in small groups. Do you want to add anything else, or that's good?
Yeah, that's pretty much it, yeah. Thank you for the committee members who have worked on it. You have the list there of people that worked on it, so.
All right, now we're at donations. Yes, donations. So I need a motion to accept a donation of $5,374 from the State Ed Department for the distraction-free schools, which is the no cell phones. Kevin and Sam, any questions? All in favor? I need a motion to accept the code of conduct, the new code of conduct. Kevin and Margaret. Any questions? All in favor? Now we have a personnel agenda that's going to be B through S. I need a motion for the acceptance of the personnel agenda. Kevin, second. Joe? I just want to acknowledge, we'll look through those, the retirement of Linda Ackerman, which was brought up earlier. She was here for 19 years, so we wish her well in her next journey in life. Is there anything else, anybody? I just wanted to just recognize, like, we're doing a new probationary appointment for a registered nurse, Kate Lee Giuliano. Am I saying that right? And
I had asked, sorry, I just think it's important to share that I asked. I asked about how someone becomes a mentor. The answer that I got was that we're working on finalizing those details because they're not currently firm.
No, that wasn't the answer. The answer was that there aren't specific criteria from the state. We always look to have tenured teachers, if possible, serve in those roles, and we look to match teachers as closely as possible with department or grade level. The mentor plan was worked on last summer and was never finalized and was in a draft form. So we have one, but we want to update it. And Dr. Courtwright Torres is working with the union. I think they already have, like 9 to 10 hours that have been set aside to finalize that plan and update it, because there are things that together they wanted to include to enhance it.
Thank you.
We have a permanent appointment of a teacher aide, we've got Adam Palm. Appointment of school counselor, we have Christopher Trammell, hopefully I'm saying these names right. And then we have a probationary appointment of teaching assistant Emery Slater for 4-year probationary appointment. I just want to recognize those people that, that kind of stuff. Anybody got anything else? We're down to S. I think that's all that I had circled. Any other questions? All in favor?
Sorry. Yeah, I forgot to.
Second public forum.
That's all.
Matt?
You're supposed to stand up, right?
You don't. Hello.
Many of you know me, some of you don't, so in the aspect that I'm here today as a student advocate, I know that there have been, an up and down. We're in the 3rd week of school. It's kind of been a little bit of a roller coaster, and I have my little notes here to go through and make sure that, I don't miss anything here. So I'm here tonight to share concerns that staff has raised regarding communication and decision-making within our district. I also want to note that we are working with the superintendent administration to find solutions to these and other concerns of my members and the students I have in work hall. I kind of felt this need to come to you guys and hear about it. So start decisions are presented to us as though they are made with staff input based on student needs. But in reality, they frequently come to us last minute without meaningful decision of what has or has not worked in the past. We're not opposed to change. In fact, we welcome it. Come watch my classroom sometime. When it improves the outcome for students. But repeating the same strategies that have already failed simply recreates the same problems, which then slows the progress. This is a major concern for our teachers and staff, and one I feel strongly about. For those of you that are here present May 21st at the meeting, about 6 months ago, you may remember that I spoke about the amazing opportunities we provide for our students. Strong special education services, performance arts, distance learning classes, access to college level, and AP. I said that these are opportunities that our district is unique, and we need to protect them. Tonight, I must tell you that we are not fighting to preserve those very opportunities. We're asking for your support to ensure that special education students continue to learn in small classes with in-class support from their teachers in ELA, math, science, and social studies. We're asking you to help us make sure that students have access to performing arts and the lessons to do those performing arts, distance learning classes, AP classes, and college level classes without being blocked because they simply went through and chose to challenge themselves, and in some cases took them in an earlier year. So as seniors, they can sometimes have multiple study halls instead of being in some classes. These experiences matter, and I think with some of the presentations you saw tonight, you get the idea. The more diverse opportunities available to our students, the more their brains grow. There's research out there that says every single one of us is a genius when we're born. It's after the age of about 2 that we start to separate the aspect of what that percentage starts to drop. And that's because of curiosity, it's because of learning, it's because of the aspect of going through some of these things that allow us to develop and grow instead of stay stagnant. So the better that we learn and they learn, the more prepared they will be for whatever their future plans are and what they choose to be. Whether it be in the trades, workforce, or college. We heard a lot about the college component tonight, but the workforce is just as amazing as some of the things that they can go through and do. Just watch this guy do this and, sorry, I forgot. I'll share this tonight not as a criticism, but as to strongly urge that we continue to shift towards transparency, collaboration, decision-making, some of our values that you saw tonight, and making values, decision-making that values staff input, consistency, and above all, student-centered planning. That is how we build trust, we retain talented educators, and most importantly, do what is best for the students. This is how we also live up to the motto that we've been talking about this year: every day, in every way, everyone counts, and create a positive environment for our schools to strive in. Thank you.
Thanks, Matt.
Matt, may I ask you a question about that? Real
Your
quick.
meeting.
Yeah, well, okay, then I'm going to. So, when you're talking about decisions that are being made, to clarify, are they coming from administration?
Their decisions about schedule, their decisions about how classes are run, they aren't decisions teachers get to make.
So, yeah,
So that would be the answer that I can give you.
thank you.
Thanks, Matt. Additional items to discuss. I do not have anything this month, surprisingly enough. Does anyone else have anything additional items to discuss? All right, so I need a motion to go into executive session to discuss the employment history of a particular person, Kevin and Sam. Any questions? All in favor? Thank you. Good evening, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
I didn't know you were talking earlier, so I get this.